This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.
This is Now Breakfast.
The Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) says it will restart the Kolmani oil drilling project, the first ever oil exploration in the northwest. The Kolmani drill site is situated between the border of Bauchi and Gombe states and sees a resumption of operations 2 years after the project was inaugurated by former President Muhammadu Buhari. Our guest on this conversation is Ayodele Oni, who is an oil and gas expert. Mr. Oni, good morning. Thank you for joining us on the conversation.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Can you share with us your initial thoughts about the resumption of this project?
Well, it's something always planned. If you look at the Petroleum Industry Act, it does say that 30% of NNPCL profit oil and profit gas from certain contracts will go to frontier exploration. So there's a frontier exploration fund. So I think it's something that started around 2022. It's not a bad idea because the more oil we do get, at least in the short to medium term, until we completely decarbonize or the world completely decarbonizes, it'll be good income, particularly when oil prices are good. And it then means that development should spread, right? If we can have better quality leadership, we've got a reasonably good leadership at the moment, at least when it comes to reforms. So it would then spread to the north. Stuff like the host community trust arrangement that communities that have oil are currently enjoying can also extend to the north. So it's a good idea also because, finances have been provided for it and NNPC's finances. Why not? Why not try?
Some people have criticized it. I remember when it was going on during the Buhari administration, and there were some experts who said, look, let's channel the resources more towards the Niger Delta, where we do have confirmed reserves and we have decaying infrastructure and whatnot. Do you agree with that assessment?
So there will be two sides to every coin. If you do not play the lottery, you cannot win. The Niger Delta is quite prolific. Probably the only prolific or one of the two prolific basins we have in this part of the world. We've got Anambra, Dahomey, Bida, Sokoto, Chad, Benue. Those are other basins, and they are mostly frontier. Now, if we have private sector, if we can encourage private sector investment, and that's what I say, government should not do it all if you provide the enabling environment. Business people are going to come and expand. And I'm sure you've heard the stories around the $1.5 billion recently announced by, I think this is Exxon this time, right? Different from the Total deal. Private sector guys would go to where you already have successful finds. It's government that does the groundwork. So if the North then becomes successful, the private sector is going to come. So I think we can leave the private sector for Niger Delta. I've never been an advocate of government doing everything or government even being in business. Government should build backbone infrastructure. Private sector can then connect and expand that infrastructure. And sounds like what we may be doing in the north. The NNPC with government money invest, does exploration. If they do find, and in some cases they're doing it with certain private investors. If they do find, then they move on. Also remember that the Ajaokuta Kaduna Kano will be fed by gas around there also, because I understand that there's a prospect of beyond oil, even gas. Recall, we have more gas than we do oil because we have both associated and non-associated gas, right? So I think it's not a bad idea because infrastructure is moving that way, and we are integrating the northern, eastern, and western gas pipeline systems, unlike what we previously had. So it's not a bad idea as long as there's government money also, and they're building that bank for the private sector to come in.
So there are some questions about whether the NNPC, the new leadership, should conduct an audit first of the initial attempt before this declaration that we're going to resume the drilling. Can you give us a sense of, do we know why it is that the drilling stopped in the first place?
I think that there were a lot of distractions for the last administration of the NNPCL. I wouldn't know for certain why they stopped, but I think the initial discouragement and they were fighting many battles from refinery to all sorts and not even having the cash at some point. I think that, like you stated, it's crucial that an audit is undertaken because it then allows you to know what the issues were and how you can avoid those issues. And if you need to take certain steps, you can take those steps at that point. So I am one for undertaking a proper audit, technical, legal, financial, so that you know what the challenges were. If there were misdeeds, you can deal with those. So I agree with that standpoint.
Mr. Oni, thank you very much for your time and expertise on this conversation. Ayodele Oni is an oil and gas expert who joined us this morning to speak on the NNPC, Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited's announcement of its intention to restart the Kolmani oil drilling project, which is located between the borders of Bauchi and Gombe states. It's the first oil exploration project in the northwest and was inaugurated on the 22nd of November 2024 by former President Muhammadu Buhari.
This is Radio Now 95.3 FM. Come for the news, stay for informed conversations.